So you're listening to and watching Mark and Diane on Real Estate News and Views. And today we're going to deal or talk about selling your house before or after you've already purchased a house. You got an email and you and I got into a big discussion and thought this is something people should really know about.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of risk right now in the market. And depending on the property type, hey, listen, if it's a townhouse in a decent area, yeah, I'd say do it. You got to be priced properly from the get-go. You can't go, well, I'll only sell if I get this price. No, got to be priced for the market. Anything above that townhouse price point, whether it be a detached at 750, 850, 950, million 50, 1.1.2, never, because there's risk involved. We have a lot of inventory on the market, and people need to start paying attention to those numbers because they're growing daily. So I won't get into too much detail about that property, but I will say that looking at that briefly, it will be a challenge to sell. So that's a lot of pressure on a homeowner, right? That needs to sell, possibly bridge finance, whatever.
Okay, so let
It's
me let me dispel a
expensive.
couple rumors, Mark. Okay. One is you cannot get bridge financing. So, bridge financing, people, is when you own two houses at the same time. And say you have your house sells and closes May 1st and your new one April 15th. So, for 2 weeks, technically you own two houses, and that's considered bridge financing.
Yep.
The issue, Mark, because I've done bridge financing, you cannot bridge finance unless you have a deal and a sale on the home you are currently living in.
Correct.
If you don't have a deal, you can't bridge finance.
No.
So the person that had questioned you, he can't even bridge finance. He doesn't have a deal on his house.
Right. So that's the concern is I question not just that agent. I'm not singling out that agent, but I question why that advice would be good to
Why
give
would you
to a potential seller right now in this market. No,
why would you buy before you've sold in a market where you don't really know what you're going to get? You're not guaranteed a certain amount of money.
you better have an idea what you're going to get based on the solds and be very cautious how much competition there is out there right now because there's a ton.
Mark, look at the people that messaged you last year. We went into detail about it. His agent told him he could get 1.2 and he went and bought another house.
Mhm.
Remember?
Mhm.
And what did he got 9 or something? What did he get?
At nine and change, and I think it's like 935 or 960. It's a beautiful property on Taylor Drive in Barrie. Probably one of the best lots. I think it was back on EP land, no neighbors behind, 45 or 50 frontage by 200 and change. Beautiful lot. Like
Yeah.
2,000 square foot, two-story, fully finished. I think it had a walkout basement. Um, a little updating, but it was a nice home. Like he's been there for a long, many, many years, and he took the advice from the realtor that, you know what, I can get you 1.2. And he was very skeptical on this. So, viewers, I want you to pay attention to this because this has happened a couple of years ago where he was very skeptical on the price. He went, well, you know what? They're the professional. They know better than I do. So he went with that route. Long story
And he
short,
bought,
he's
he
already
firmed
bought,
it up.
firmed it up, thought he'd put a couple 100K in his pocket, right? Retired. Hey, you know what? Downsizing the house, don't need this. Buy a fixer upper, maybe put 100 into it, put a couple 100K in your pocket. Life's okay. Well, it didn't work out that way because he got nine and change for the property and he paid eight and it needed an extensive amount of work, 125 to 150K worth of work. He just did a trade off. He left a beautiful area for a crappy area and a crappy house. This is the thing. Pick your agent wisely.
Well, the thing is,
Don't
there's
go off the
age.
commission.
That's
What
right.
first with the first question? Oh, what's your commission? How about what's your experience? How long have you been in the business? How many deals have you done? Do you have some references?
How
How are you
about what
guys?
area?
Whatever. What it goes on, and I can talk to till I'm green. That isn't happening today. People are
No.
looking at the condition, how much commission. Meanwhile, they don't know who they're working with, but they go, I'll give you 1%. Oh, great, they do it. They can't navigate them through an offer. They can't even
Well,
get the listing right.
the other thing that we talked about yesterday or we brought up is that some agents, like agents are starving, let's be real, right?
Yeah, it's a tough market right now. No one's making
Yes. So some agents will say, "Oh yeah, you can purchase now. There's going to be no problem selling your house."
it.
So once they get you to buy a
Fine.
house and now you've committed and you firmed, they know they got you on the sale as well because you have to sell now
Yeah. It's
and
sad that it happened.
you can't even change agents at that point
No. I helped
because
them
you're
with a couple things. Like it
because
was,
you're knee deep in it, right?
yeah, yep. It's not a good position to be in. So saying that, pick them wisely. It's so
Well,
important. How well does an agent know the market today? I'm going to tell you, they don't by looking at what's listed today and what the price points were. I got a text from a client before doing the video, and I was pulling up the property. It's in Ramara. It's on the water. They bought it for 475 in 2020. They've had it listed since 2022. Ask 849. It is now down to at one point down to 599. Now back up to 649. They did the basement. Where does it go up 400 double in price almost? Where? Where does
I
that come
know.
from?
I don't know.
No, it's not like I like the property, but I don't understand the logic behind the valuation.
Hmm.
This is
Well,
going on all the time.
another thing that I pulled up, which you're probably gonna like, is I pulled up the SPPs.
All right.
So what
Hold
an
on.
SPP is, people, is it's a condition based on this selling the purchaser's property.
Selling buyers.
So right. So you can make a condition in the offer that your house has to sell to at least protect yourself from getting into the situation where you've already purchased, you firm the deal, and now you got to basically give your house away or you can get sued, right?
You're committed to selling when you bought something.
Yeah. And a
Before you go
lot of
into some of
agents,
those
like I said,
properties, you're going to go into some of those properties you pulled up?
yeah.
Okay, do that, and I'm just going to give the blurb here. So, anyone likes this information, which I hope you do, hit the subscribe button. Notifications will be delivered to you when we upload a new video. Also, have
So,
links in the top part of our descriptions for home evaluations or a buying person that wants to purchase a property. We can get you all kinds of listing delivered to your inbox.
okay. So another thing we can help with is when you go on House Sigma or you go on these sites, you cannot tell. Some of them do market conditionally sold, but you don't know what it is. Okay. So if it's conditional on somebody else selling their house, they can be bumped. If you go in with a firm offer, just finance and inspection, and you come to an agreement on price, you can actually bump the person who is trying to sell their house. If they haven't sold and they can't firm the deal, you can bump them off. And I've had that happen lots of times. I've been the bumper and the bumpy, like both
Yeah.
ways.
Mhm.
So this one is sold conditional, was listed for 40 days, and it shows as an agent, we can see that it's COF, which is
Conditional
um
financing.
yes, conditional financing, and an SPP, which is the sale of the purchaser's property.
Yes.
And we can see that it expires May 15th.
Mhm.
So this is based on somebody selling their house and they have May till May 15th to do it.
Explain what the 48 means to the viewer.
So there's an escape clause of 48 hours. Normally, I only take an escape of 24 hours, but when I put in an offer and I know that it's sold conditional on the sale of a house. I give them, they have 48 hours to firm the deal or lose the deal, the original purchaser. So the
Right.
original purchaser gets a form and notification. You have been notified. We have another offer that we're willing to take. You have 48 hours to either firm the deal with me right now or you lose the deal and I go with the new offer.
Right. Correct.
So I usually won't agree to 48. Do you? I agree to only 24.
It's too long. It's too long, right? And you know, I hate going in with those offers because you really lose negotiation power, right?
Well,
Because it
yes.
means nothing. You're agreeing on a price, you're agreeing on a closing date, and you're going to agree on the conditions and the chattels, et cetera, whatever.
And
That's it.
and let me explain to people. If you sell your house conditionally, let me stop sharing for 1 second. If I take an offer that's conditional on you selling your house, Mark, I want almost full price because now my house is basically off the market for 30 days or 45 days or 60 days. A lot of agents won't show it once
Right.
it's conditionally sold.
Okay, hold that thought. And a lot of agents won't report those sales.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into that a couple weeks ago. Like it, accept a conditional offer. Thought you sold it. Like, what's going on? I don't see it up there. I'll wait for deposit. Okay, give 5 more days. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So I asked him, you got a conditional offer? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, guess what I did? I went to real
Ordered
estate,
them?
said, hey, this property is conditionally sold and it's not updated on the real estate board. I'm working on the benefit of my clients. We want that property.
Mm-hmm.
I want showings to stop. I want things to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
I told them we'll give you what it's worth, but we're not giving you what you think it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Call me if you're interested. I don't want nobody to see it.
No, and this is the thing. As soon as you accept that offer, your showings are going to slow down or totally stop.
It
So
will.
if I'm going to do that, you better be giving me full price or close to it. Now the problem with that is if you go try to bump somebody, you got to give them nearly what they already had because they already had it in their hand.
Oh, I don't think so. I'll disagree with you there on that one. I don't think they had nothing there. This is the point. They had nothing there.
Oh, he didn't have an offer.
We had an offer, but that conditional SPP, that's you're agreeing on a price, you're agreeing on the child's, you're agreeing on a closing date, et cetera, et cetera. That's it. You have nothing. I can't take that to the bank and say I've sold my house. I can't.
Well,
I've,
I did.
in this market, that's nothing.
No,
That's
I know, but like every time I have had an SVP on my client's listing and we bumped somebody off,
yeah.
it was almost the same price.
What do you do if it's over if that seller thinks it's worth more than what the list price was
My
because
s- well, my seller said, "Well, we'll just wait for the other guy then to sell his house."
but that's not guaranteed. That's the thing.
I tried to tell them that, but the problem
Nothing's
is
guaranteed.
once people get a certain amount,
It means nothing.
well, they're not going to go way lower. It just doesn't
Well, then they're
happen.
not gonna, then they're not going to sell. I mean,
Usually, if somebody's coming in to bump an
yeah,
SPP, they want the property
yeah. It
and
wouldn't
they
be me.
pay.
Wouldn't be me. We want the property at what the valuation of the property is today, not next year or back in 2022. And I have an agent that thinks it's worth that 2022 price point.
Yeah, I know.
Your
Well,
SPP, that's great. That means shit. You got nothing.
that one is not necessarily normal. Like he wants way more. Like if you look at the one we're looking at right now, their original price is 749.9. So they're not priced at some high price.
No, small house, but it's cute. It's good, right?
Yeah.
It's listed for 40 days. I'm just not a big fan of them. I hate doing those type of offers because you're renegotiating all the time in a sense. Or it is a lot of work because you're just the pressure's on to sell their house. And if things are not selling properly and that seller thinks it's worth more or it just doesn't, match the competition that's out there, it's a hard sell.
It is. Oh, 109 rough it. SPP. 48 hours till May 19th.
No.
And what are they listed at? 774.
Mhm.
So, like, you can accept this conditional offer on the sale of somebody's house. But another thing I want to tell people,
What do you
bef-
do in the market though when nothing's selling?
okay, I'll tell you what I do.
Backup comes and you go, huh? You listed it at that?
Okay, listen, here's a couple tricks
Wow.
here. Couple tricks. One, on the SPP, when the offer comes in, they have to put the address, right?
Mhm.
That they got to sell. So you can look it up and see what kind of house it is. Second of all, what are you going to price it at? I asked that before we even accept it.
Well,
Like,
that's a
what's your price going to be? Then another question that I started putting in because another agent did it to me years ago, and it's brilliant, that they will have the property listed within 7 days.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that it, because if it takes 2, 3 weeks to list it, it's not going to sell in the 30 or 45 days. And then they're going to ask for an extension. This is another thing, people. If it doesn't sell in the time period that is in the offer, you can extend those conditions and say, okay, we need another 30 days to sell. And years ago, that was normal. You just, okay, yeah, all right, here's another 30 days. Is that going to be normal now? Maybe if things aren't selling.
Things aren't selling. So you have to look at that as that approach. It could be accepting extension. Showing's going to fall off automatically. We already know that, right? You're going to stop. Or they're going to ask the agent, we like it, my clients like it, but how secure is this deal in a sense? Well, they haven't sold the property, financing's done. Maybe they like it's just a lot of legwork that's not going. And then you put an offer in. Oh, sorry, they firmed up. A lot of people, it happens all the time,
Yes,
right?
it does.
So, and then maybe that buyer takes the risk, right? That's a problem. Then that buyer that okay, firmed up on that deal and then still hasn't sold their property. Then there's a lot more. Now it's going, oh my God. Now they're under the gun to commit to closing that transaction.
Yeah. Well, another thing I always find, and you probably do too, when an agent comes in with an offer with an SPP conditional on their client selling their house, they always talk up the house.
Oh, for sure. All the time.
It's a great house. It's great. We're going to price it great. It's got this, it's got that. They sell us on the fact that it's great and it's going to sell so that we will sell that to our client.
100%. That's not
And you have to be able to see through that crap.
100%, but not everybody does, right?
Well, the
We
problem
need to get
is,
agents to price property at market value. So how in the hell are they going to navigate a scenario like that? You tell me. Most of them probably haven't even been through anything like this. And we're
no,
trusting that professional to walk us through and guide us accordingly through the process. That's very hard today because of tight lending practices, economy slowing, potential job losses, goes on and on and on. And that's why the
well,
market's not doing anything.
and you know what, Mark? I have in the past sold my house or bought a house before I've sold. I have, with no SPP, no conditions, just done it. I've done it more than once. Um, but I won't advise my client to do it.
It's too much risk because it comes back on you. You told me to sell this. If you think, again, I really think this market could do more numbers if things were better, if
Yeah,
pricing was better. We see it all the time. We see stuff come up and go, oh, wow, that sold pretty fast. Yeah, because it was priced properly the first
yeah,
time. So, and I do think, things will pick up a little bit more, maybe, right? We're still kind of getting teased with good weather, bad weather all the time, and kind of puts a damper on things. But in the next few weeks, weather's getting better. There's going to be more product coming on the market. People will be out there raking their lawns next week because it's sunny every day almost, great temps. So, but it comes down to where do I price that properly to sell?
Well, and you and I
Why
have
isn't my house selling?
you and I, some of the listings and some of the things that we looked at, and even some of the clients that have reached out to you, some of them were using agents that were newer, didn't even know the area, but some had somebody that's been doing it for years and in the Barrie area.
Yeah, it
And
happens.
they did the same thing. Like they bought first, priced something ridiculously high that's never going to sell.
So they don't know, like, why? Why?
Well, my worry is this, because if I get you to buy the house, Mark, and you go firm and you buy something, you have to sell that. You're gonna have to. I know you only paid 750, and yeah, you might want 1.1, but I know that you have to sell because you bought, and I know you can take the hit and do it, and I'm gonna get two deals out of it.
Yeah, well, to me, that approach would be wrong because I would never want to be judging a client or putting them in that kind of a position with that kind of an attitude of going, okay, I'm gonna and a lot do. I get it. And that's why they do it. But where's the fiduciary duties? Where's the ethics involved? Why not come out straight out of the horse's mouth going, you know what? You bought firm now, you're gonna start sweating soon. We need to price it here, not at your number 9. It needs to be 775. That's a
Yeah.
reality. I'm going to show you why it's 775. And that if you do a good job showing them, they should believe you. And if they don't believe you, the risk's on that person then. You
Well,
don't
and you know
let
what?
you, not
I,
me.
I've been in those situations, and like I said, I won't do it. I try to talk them out of it because I am feeling the pressure. I'm not sleeping at night too. Because like these people are freaking out, right? They're calling, they're freaking out. I'm freaking out. Open, I'm trying to do this, trying to do that. Like you're trying to get them out of trouble now. Because now they're in trouble.
Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the house. Depends on the price point.
No, but what I'm saying is that those discussions, like Jessica did one last fall. She told them, okay, if you really want to buy this other house and you don't want an SPP, then you have to go, like she gave them worst case scenario, you're going to get 700. Everything else on the street sold 750, but she's saying, listen, we're under the gun now. Can you take 700? They said yes. So she went forward and she sold it in one day, Mark.
Right. It
She
happens.
didn't
Like,
list it for 7. She listed it higher.
right.
And it got sold in one day, but she prepared them that if you want to do this and we get under the gun, can you take this price?
Yeah. Well, you got to have that hard, difficult conversation and not hide behind the mirror and go, well, I don't care if they what they price that, they're going to have to sell anyway. Which, what a way to have a relationship with a client.
I
What?
can't do it because like I have a really hard time. Like when my clients are in turmoil, I'm in turmoil because you know, I understand because I've done deals and you've done deals on your own houses when things are going sideways and look at Eaglestone with you.
Same scenarios where we just talked about. They bought the property. I took an SPP back in 2017. Great. And this was a very experienced agent in the community. You know what? Nice property. Okay, I'm sure it's going to be priced for the market. 150 grand overpriced in that range. What are you doing? Long story short, get a phone call 2 days before I'm closing. We can't close. We didn't sell. Oh, well, I knew that was coming. So what are we doing? So then I already bought something on my end. I bought the condo at Nautica,
Yeah.
call up that agent up, go, hey, listen, any way of extending this closing date? Because I just got a call from the buyer's agent and they're not going to meet the obligation. The answer is no. Oh, okay. Then I had to go arrange secondary financing at private money. Cost me 15,000 in fees. I got it within 48 hours to be successful to close the property. Let me go back and renegotiate the deal and go, you're paying for that 15K to do it because why should I take the hit?
Yeah.
Why should I do that? You messed up, not me. So there's a situation that that client wasn't guided properly, the buying client that bought my property at all from an experienced agent, but they weren't experienced in that field, obviously.
Obviously not.
They weren't experienced at pricing homes properly, obviously. It's all in the numbers, no matter what. You can guide someone effectively if you're telling them all the facts. Here's a number. Here's what's selling. Here's where you need to be. If they don't like it, you're not going to sell. Here's why.
Well, and you can't just say, okay, I didn't sell my house, so I'm gonna walk away.
That's
Because look what happens, Mark. You had already bought.
the suing could have been, and I told her, you walk away, that's fine. I'm coming after you because I had success on it. I can close. I can manage both. Leave that vacant. Yeah, I'm paying some fees every month, but at the end of the day, I'm coming after you for them. And I had
Yeah,
the
because the problem is when you're buying in that condition, the person in that home that you bought has to buy another house because they got to move out. So now you get a ripple effect of right? Of people that I've heard it go like three people down, where say the Nautica people had bought and
It
now
was
they
property, but yes, maybe they bought something else. They had a deal. Great, we're going to go buy wherever we want to buy. I
and
don't
you
know.
and you couldn't close and you had to do an extension and everybody's doing an extension. The original person has to pay for everybody's fees.
Mhm. Mhm.
So like you have to really, really be careful with what you're doing. And right now in this market, I wouldn't be buying without being sold, especially if you're in a high price property. Forget it.
Don't even go. Don't even put an SVP in because the success of you trying to sell that based on 145 again at a higher price, so we'll say the million above. There's probably 146, 147 to 150 properties listed at that price point currently.
Yeah.
10% selling. Your success rate is 10%. Your failure rate is 90%. The odds aren't good. So
Exactly.
how are you going to pull it off? Right? We know why it's not good. One, price points are too high. People can't qualify. People aren't making any big decisions right now. They're going to be they're more cautious approach right now. So it's tough out there. The environment that we're in today is hard for people to navigate around a real estate transaction today and to price your property and what do we go in at, right? And to the other side of that coin is that we see an extensive amount of agents from GTA, North York markets, Toronto markets, representing buyers and sellers here all the time. They don't know anything about the market. When I was bringing Avery to vote yesterday, the one of the workers there, a young lady, probably in her early 30s, and talking about Barrie, she goes, I just moved. I bought a place for my mom. Oh, whereabouts? Oh, the new condos at debut. Oh, okay. She bought in 2020. Okay, she'd probably come out okay on it. She goes, I said, oh, that's crap area. You know that, eh? Like, oh yeah, now I know that. Why didn't you ask somebody?
Yeah.
If I was, let's just pretend that building's been there for 5 years. Same scenario, same thing. H is not going to know about the McDonald's on the corner that's full of junkies.
No.
I know about the methadone clinic right beside there.
Yeah.
They're not going to know that. They're not. It's everywhere in that little community. Why wouldn't you do this? If I was that buyer and said I wanted to buy a new in Barrie, and you're my agent from down Toronto, you're going to partner with someone and you're going to pay them 25% to guide us to the right areas and really understand the market, what's going on, and what areas to stay away from. Because I'm not getting burnt because we hear these stories all the time.
All the time.
What a great feat, what a great investment that would be. And that buying agent will do it because that buyer, if you don't do it, I'm going somewhere else.
I know.
Do it. So give 25% of your commission so you protect me
Yeah.
because I don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be doing today.
Yeah.
They could supply you with comps. They could be your assistant. I'm going
Yeah.
to help you through this transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's how easy would that be? Safe.
Easy.
It'd be safe.
People are
Right?
greedy.
People are greedy and they'll talk them out of no, don't there's no talking out of that. Do that. They don't know the community. You better. you better partner up with someone in the community,
Yeah.
So, or a
All right.
crappy school in the area, whatever. It goes on and on and on. But
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Okay.
Wrap
Good
it up.
job. Talk to you.
See you.
Bye.